Alright, let me check my sound here, see how my sound's doing. Looks like you guys should be able to hear me alright. That's good. And, yeah, let's see what's going on here. Let's, back out a little bit and, go switch my stuff over, give you guys a chance to log in and find me if you want. There's a couple things. There's a couple things going on tonight that aren't the normal way that I do them. And, let's see if you guys can, determine what those are. Right? Couple things tonight that are different than normal. If you guys can figure them out, well, good for you. We are going to do some lab work tonight, but we are working first on video gaming just because I wanted to, and I've been working a whole bunch, so yeah. And Fisherman, do you notice anything else different? Something I haven't done in, I don't know, maybe since June or so. Probably early June. Yeah, the shower is once a month whether I need it or not. Worst day of the month, though. Also, it's funny, this is definitely slowing my PC down, which I'm kind of surprised that it's doing that. Because you wouldn't think that this would slow. You know, I got a gaming PC, so it's like you wouldn't think that this would slow it down too much. Alright. But behind this, I've gotten a whole bunch of stuff working that we can do some testing on, we can do some labs on. Kind of getting ready. I want the environment all stood up for the LSA this weekend. So this weekend is the start of our Linux Systems Administration course. So I will. I think that'll be a good course, good thing for that. So what I can do in that course is, and this is one of these things with when you have Werewolf. I can break these machines that I have, and I can have you for that week have a lab that's completely set up differently than other systems. So that might be something I do a little bit tonight. Draw a little architecture up. That might be kind of fun. Let's take the Typhoon because I kind of like Typhoons up front, and we'll put them up here. They're not quite chaff, but we will kill off these guys, and then we'll level all these guys up, and we will give them field maintenance so they're going to heal as they go. Now, if you guys haven't seen this game's an auto battler, which means that I really don't have to do too much except for the thinking up front, which is kind of nice as an engineer. I can just set my pieces up, and since I'm smoked from Stig review and all this other stuff today, so I really don't want to think too hard. But then I can go and I can set up, give myself a little more armor. And do I want to add anything here? We could add, you know what, we'll add one more set of these little chaff guys here. Because these guys, they're not very strong at first, but as you start to give them tech, they can really become like a terror on the battlefield here. So, as usual, if you guys have tech questions or anything you want to ask me or talk about, we can do that. And, man, I'm surprised this is running as slow as it is, because I don't think I have a potato PC, but it's a laptop, but, you know, it is what it is. So, we should be doing all right here. Let's see. Yeah, we're winning. We're winning the battles. Ops to Dev, how's it going? And Inside Sources, it is a good evening. Me and the wife just had dinner together. That's my favorite teriyaki place in all of Phoenix. Well, it's up in Glendale, but it's this place called Japan Express, and they have really good spicy teriyaki. Yeah, so I have tech stuff behind this, but we're just kind of messing around. Yeah, Ops to Dev, I'm back home. All right, so I'm knocking out the robot. I'm just playing this against a bot right now. I'm not playing against a person. We can go play against people if we want to. All right. We are going to take an amp core, which is going to give us more hit points and damage. We're going to put on this cool little guy. And then we're going to promote this guy so he's a level 2. And then we are going to contemplate what we might want to add to kind of this battlefield. So what we'll probably do is add another Typhoon over here. Whoops, we'll turn him this way. And then we can start to put tech on him. So I'm going to give him a barrier first. So him and his buddy, they're going to have these bubbles, right? Yeah, Ops to Dev, that was something I was saying earlier I have not probably since June showed you guys the room. I used to always stream like this, and now I got a little green screen over here, but I just was like, it's warm in Phoenix. I think it hit like 107 today, and this room is above the garage, so this is like the warmest room in my house. So I'm like, I'm not gonna give up my fan. I got a little fan that sits in the hallway over there, and fan above me. I'm like, I'm not gonna bother giving all that up for having a green screen behind me. So yeah, that's the difference. Some of you guys have seen this, you know, many times because I did this for years. But yeah, I figured I'd do this a little different tonight. It's fun fact. I've got this missile thing that makes my missiles 200% damage. So watch this. See how this guy's got an asshole standing right out front there? I'm just gonna hit that guy with a. I hit that guy with a missile. Don't want to play games? Dead by missile. And it took out half those Mustangs too, so that was pretty good. So, all right, we'll finish this up, and then we will review the lab environment. Maybe I'm probably gonna do like a little drawing of it because I want the people that are doing the environment to understand it. This is a game called Mechabellum. I want to say it's like $14 on Steam. It might even be. I think they just left beta testing, but it's yeah, it's a pretty good little game. So what happens is you set your guys up, and they go auto battle for you. So you don't even. I could talk to you guys while they do things, but then in between, you know, your guys get levels up. You've got these little experience points over here as they kill things. And then there's also tech. So you've got this tech that you can add. But as you add more tech, the tech gets more expensive, right? Because that's how these games work. In between rounds, we get to pick specialized things. These are like cards that are given to us. And the one that I want right now is going to allow me... Normally you can deploy 2 units per turn. But now I can deploy 1 more unit. So I can deploy 3 units per turn. But I can come over here and spend 50... of my monies and deploy a 4th unit this turn now. So I could really start pivoting on the battlefield if I needed to. I don't need that right now though, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to level up my guys, make my guys a little stronger. Because when you level them up, it affects everything. Like it makes their barrier stronger, it makes their missiles stronger if you give them missiles. So in this case, what I'll probably do is I'll just add missiles to these guys, and then I'll put another deployment of these guys right in the middle. So you might say, well, you didn't even use your extra deployments. Yeah, I ran out of money. That's fine. But for us, for right now, this is what we'll do, and then in other runs of this, then or in the next rounds, if we have more rounds, then we will add that. Man, those little rhinos are really coming and messing me up. All right, we're gonna have to do something about those rhinos. They just come in and punch everybody. That's what those little puncher bots were doing. Other than that, though, his side's pretty much crumbling. You're trying to get to their towers, but if you just kill off all their guys, it doesn't matter. Yeah, their guys are crumbling over here, so I'm pretty much walking. Yeah, and then as soon as you damage one of their towers, it sends an EMP out and messes up their guys for like 5 seconds. So their guys are like really just getting hammered right now. Look, they can't even kill this one tank. Took them that long to kill him, so yeah, pretty fun little game. It's a time waster, auto battler, you know. All right, and then we'll get back to it. Mind posting game chat. Oh yeah, it's right here. Hold on. Mechabellum for people that want it, and then over on YouTube I'll do Mechabellum as well. I don't normally, you guys know, I try not to normally game when I'm doing serious stuff, but I just wanted to relax a little bit and kind of hang out. All right, orbital bombardment. So you get these things that can be used every so many turns. So every 4 rounds I'll get to use this again. But I'm going to just orbital bombard, which is just going to do RNG of trying to hit everything. Yeah, EVE Online, yeah. Let's level these guys up because we've got money. My money is in the bottom right corner. You should be able to see it right over here. Yeah, right over here. There's my money. Got 800 money left, and I've got a whole bunch of deployments I can do. So what I'm probably going to do is deploy a few of these and get these guys out here. My little, what are they called? Fangs. Now, Fangs are just like, they're just little infantry units, but they start to get really powerful when you add Ignite, because Ignite has a chance to hit the target and it loses 6% of its health. So what that means is, right, if you can do percentage-based damage, it doesn't matter if a monster has 30,000 health or 500,000 health if I'm chunking off 6% at a time. Fangs use... yeah. But now, see, when I did that, all of the tech went more expensive. So these Fangs can get really, really, really powerful over time. I'm just going to go ahead and add... Remember I said I can do more deployments if I want? Let's go ahead and add more. And then I'm going to go ahead and add... I can even buy a better version over here. So this one's already level 2. and this one will just go right here. Their different tech is I can give them more range. I can give them a rage. There's a mechanical rage. And I can also give them a little portable shield. So portable shields always do 1 instance of protection of damage. So let's say somebody over there is just doing like a huge amount of damage. This will still block 1 instance of that damage, which is huge, even if it's like splash damage. So it's really good for getting them in there and getting their ignite on guys. So let's see how this is going. They're putting up, they've got a Wraith up there. They've got some more of these guys. These guys are all trouble. But now with it, oh geez, orbital bombardment can really mess people up sometimes. So, all right, one of their rhinos is down. The other rhino's down. All right, that's game blouses, right? Who remembers that reference? Who here is old enough to remember the Dave Chappelle show, which was like 03, 04, 05 time frame? Yeah, we can't get a lot of games on Linux. That's one of the reasons I do run Linux or Windows on my desktop, is so I can play games if I want to. But I try not to play too many games because I get super addicted. So we'll get to some serious stuff here in a little bit. All right, let's do Fortress. And Fortresses are fun units because they're, 1, pretty powerful, but then 2, also, I can give them a shield too. So now we've got even more shields up on the battlefield. And then we'll go ahead and promote all of these guys, and we will give them mechanical rage so they shoot faster. And we can't give them range enhancement right now, but we can go ahead and promote this guy for right now. And then you know what? We'll give them 1 more missile right here. The missiles are a waste, but I have supply specialist and I have 200% damage. Stream plus Proton has gotten really good. Yeah, inside sources. I wonder what the little Steam Deck. Does anybody have a little Steam Deck? Because I know my brother has one, and those things are really good. And I have to imagine that's some kind of Linux-based something under the hood, right? Yeah. The little Steam. Yeah. When I say Steam, I mean the little Steam gaming thing, not the little Stream Deck thing. I told the wife I want one of those little Stream Decks. You know, the little ones where it'll like do all my sounds and stuff, where I can do like this stuff automatically. Where's that? Like this and like this, and we'll do it live. Those kind of things. Like, I want a little thing that does all that for me, and then I can feel like I'm like really controlling a booth or whatever. Yeah, Stream Deck versus Steam Deck, 100%. But I imagine a Steam Deck has to be under the hood some type of Linux. I mean, I just have to imagine that. If I was playing this against people, I wouldn't have a lot of time, but since I'm playing it against a bot, the bot will pretty much wait for me as long as I want. See this guy over here? He's got a lot of hit points, but because I've got fangs going at him, the fangs will hit him. Well, they didn't hit him at all. But when they do hit him, they will hit him for like percentage-based life, and you'll see his life chunk down really fast when these, well, all the fangs are dead. Never mind. It was Ubuntu, and they switched it to Arch, yeah, and then customized heavily, yeah. 100%. Steam has their own distro for it too, based on Arch. You could probably get it. It's probably open sourced, huh? By the way, I don't know if any of you guys were here this weekend, but we had Ash in town. Ash was talking on just the open source community. He's been around since like 2011, and he's been working with mostly like Red Hat, and then just what did he say he was originally developing on early on was like Foreman. So he was doing a lot of what became Satellite. So he came and talked to us on Friday, or Saturday rather. All right, so we beat the bot. We'll get out of there because that's kind of killing the system vibe, right? I know people are here to do Linux, so let's do a little bit of Linux. I have to draw. I want to kind of draw this out for everybody so that they understand kind of what they're looking at. Let's zip all the way back out of the system. So if I were to take this, and what the hell's going on here? Oh, I was doing this to show my students something the other day, and fishermen, don't get mad. This is a generic ARM resource. The class is Network 350, and it's an Azure class, so it's like an advanced Azure. So, you know, I don't fault me for that. All right, I want to make a new. Excuse me. Let's do a new file, and we're gonna do .excalidraw. Right. I don't see. Let's just call this. What do we want to call this? Dead to me. What? Hold on. Give me a second here. I gotta think back in my mind palace here. You guys ever see the Sherlock Holmes on the BBC? It was the one with what's his name? Benedict Cumberbatch. And with Benedict Cumberbatch, let me put this up. So now you guys will have my little text to speech. With Benedict Cumberbatch doing it, he goes to his mind palace in one of the episodes, and I was like, that's a bit over the top. And then he guesses somebody's password, which I'm like, that's also a bit over the top. All right, let's call this Prologue Lab layout. So, Prologue Lab layout. It'll be an Excalibur style. Create it. Boom. All right, so now it'll be an Excalibur. One thing I always try to do on here is we change our canvas background to this 000000. In when you do it online, you don't have to do that. You can just switch it to dark mode. But when you're drawing, you have to explicitly say, okay, I want this to be in dark mode. And then when you go to draw anything, you need to specifically say, well, I want this in white. So then all your drawings will be, backed up in white, and you won't have the problems. All right, so let's think of kind of what this lab looks like. So some of you guys have been around for the lab. Isobu, how's it going? And Robodom's here to let you guys know about our Discord. I didn't even pull it up, but hold on real quick. We've got our Discord. If you go hanging out there, right, you're welcome to hang out there. And we have events that kind of go every week. We have this Saturday, we're starting a 16-week Linux system administration course, free. All you got to do is show up. We're going to start it. It's going to be 16 weeks long. It'll be Saturdays to Saturdays will be your weeks. And I will have assignments for you. I will have discussion posts that you have to make. We'll run it a lot, kind of like a college class. But it's going to be for you guys to go spend time. If you guys want to see what it looks like, this is kind of the... Here's the worksheet that I have so far for the first page. Come on, what's going on here? This is kind of the first week, and I've got a whole bunch of things to add, and then we'll go and we'll have exercise, and we'll probably have a lab that you're going to do, and then the lab is what I'm going to be doing here today and kind of testing through a little bit. I might even, if some of you guys want access, it's not hard to find access to the lab. It's down in Sandbox. But we're going to test that. We're going to draw out what it looks like. And then also the other thing that's kind of been popping off, and unfortunately this weekend, if anybody went there and didn't see the message, Salty was sick this weekend, so he didn't make it to his own event. But he does events every Sunday on being like a software engineer. He's been doing that for like 15 years. And the way he runs that, he has you guys do projects and pull against Git projects that he has. And he teaches you how to do your own branching and then all that kind of stuff that like nobody's teaching you how to do in Git. He shows people how to do it. So there you go. Robodom, I'm gonna start it from nothing, man. I'm gonna start the course from nothing on that day. You don't have to have any Linux background for that. Nope. The more you've been exposed to this, the better. But the Linux Systems Administration, no, I'm starting that one as vanilla as I can go. I'm going to make that one as vanilla and base as I can go. Oh, Doc, by the way, I'm missing you over on YouTube. Installing Game of Active Directory, nice. I never did Game of Active Directory, Doc Mallet, no. My Red Team lead experience got me, I did a lot of WAF, I did a lot of training and working with my pen testers, specifically on teaching them how to do the reports at the end, and also how to engage with teams to make sure stuff was coming. The other things I did was my company was woefully underprepared in the like what assets we had exposed out to the world category. There was nobody that could enumerate all of our sites for us. I had to go build that and figure that out myself. Like, what is our attack footprint to the world? Nobody had that. All the way up to the CISO, nobody had that where I was. So that was a problem. So anyways, I got a question on the YouTube about when I was running Red Team stuff. So these are both looking like people are going to be coming to them and pretty popular. This stuff's all for you guys, right? Like, you show up if you want, you get better if you want. I can't make anybody do anything. It's actually a fun fact. It's a fun fact. I used to talk about my college students like this, where, they'd come to a college class and then they'd go, teach me. And they just sit back like I could teach you anything if you didn't want to. The fuck? I can't teach you anything. Do you know there's whole governments built around, like around the world, built around the fact that they can't teach people what they don't want to know. In fact, they have to throw those people in concentration camps so that they can concentrate on learning what the government's trying to teach them. No, I'm kidding. That's terrible. But my point is, you can't teach people that don't want to learn. It is literally impossible. You can torture people to death and they won't learn anything if they don't want to. So yeah, so my point in saying all that is, you guys, it's your choice if you want to come and do this stuff, right? Like I don't make any of you guys do anything. By the way, we're like 24 people off of we're like 24 people away from getting to 2,500 people in the server. So that's like, that's kind of cool. Some of you guys remember when we were like barely hitting like 700 and going woohoo, and then we were it was earlier this year, we were barely hitting like 900 and we were like woohoo, and then we hit 1,000, and then something happened on YouTube, and then we like blew up to like a couple thousand, and that's pretty good. That feels good. All right, so let's talk about how this lab works, right? Everything in my home lab centers around P01 Jump 01. And since it's Linux, we're going to do P01 Jump 01 in lowercase. And that box, that server, has a process like all servers do. Well, not all servers, but most servers of SSH, right? And SSH is running on port 22. Most of you guys know that. You're like, Scott, what's with the basics? All right. But then, hold on. Inside of this SSH, we've got a jail. Got a little jail hanging out. And that jail is for user streamer 1. So streamer 1 can come into this system, and they come in through a jail, and then from that jail they can go to any of our back-end systems, right? So out here in the world, let me go switch my little drawing utensil for a second here, right? Over here, you've got the internet, right? So you got the internet out here, and you guys can all connect from the internet to this user right here, user streamer 1. And then from there, in your little jail, you have only the ability to go over to our lab environment. Of 192.168.200.0/24. Now, you'll often hear me call that the 200 network, and that's in contrast to my network out here that people aren't really going to be mucking around with too much. But you're going to be able to come in here, and then you're going to have any number of the, just copy this guy, Rocky nodes. So the Rocky nodes out here, 1, and this is sometimes the way we do this in the engineering world. We'll put a ... right, to indicate all the numbers between. And then we'll take this and we'll go Rocky down here, 19. So, sometimes as we talk about things, sometimes as we do things, it's useful to go see this process, right? And this looks absolutely terrible to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab my drawing tool. Actually, I'm going to grab all this. Get rid of all that. I need my drawing tool, but that stroke width was way too wide. And I just want to draw this like this real quick. It's going to be... You guys come in and connect there. So let's look at what that process looks like real quick for a user, right? Somebody that wanted to come in and get a hold of one of these servers. So you're on my system here. That is not the right node. This is it. Okay. So you're on a system out in the world, and you connect to this system. Let me pull up one other thing for you guys here. Okay. And this is how that looks. It's going to be SSH to streamer 1 at, and then you say, well, Scott, I can't use that internal non-routable IP address. What do I use to hit you? Well, to hit me, it's actually up in the Discord. It's prolug.asuscom.com. That's pretty close. prolug.asuscom with 2ms.com. That's pretty close. But you can find it up in the Discord if you want. Look at that. I'll show you guys where you can find it. If somebody's like, I want to go and I want to see that, I want to try to connect to that box, it's in the sandbox, and it tells you how to connect to the system. However, this is a different way to connect, so don't worry about that. You would just use prolug.asuscom.com over SSH with the streamer1 username. Now, I've changed the password, so it's going to be, you're going to have to wait to get that access on Saturday. Well, I'll give it to people early, but this one, here's our password. And now I've got 10 seconds because I'm in a bastion. I'm in a jail, but it's also being treated like a bastion. And if you don't check what you want to do in 10 seconds, this is going to kick you out. So it just kicked you out right there. So I go connect back and I say, no. I do want to connect, and I want to connect to Rocky 18. And it says you are being sent to Rocky 18. And then, oh, I got nowhere out to host. That's no good. So that's something I got to check. Is Rocky 18 down? That guy is stuck in provisioning. Well, that'll do it to you. But it was supposed to be 18. Let's check these other guys real quick. Now I'm not going to go manually check all these every time. I have a watch. I'll show you guys how we can check real quick because I know that 19's up. So let's do that one. Lab. What's the password? Big lab something, right? That's my thing. 19 is definitely up. So now I'm in Rocky 19. Hostname. ID. I'm root. fdisk-l. grep-i xvd. So I have 4 disks. The primary disk that we're on. And then 3 other disks that you can carve up. Like in some of our labs, you're going to be carving those up and turning those into logical volume management and doing all these things. Doc Mallet, are we going to use containers? I fixed the laptop. It was freezing. Yeah, so Doc, some of the stuff we're going to do is going to be in this lab. Some of the stuff we're going to be doing is going to be up in Killer Coda. So let me just, I'll run this because some of you guys probably didn't see this or haven't been around. Let me just show you guys the syllabus real quick. So some of you guys know I've been a college professor a long time. And you know that I've been putting together materials for a long time. And this is kind of what my syllabus kind of looks like. I picked this up from a college long ago that doesn't exist anymore. And this is our Prolug 101 Linux System Administration. I also am going to do one of these days that's going to be Linux Systems Engineering. And that one's going to be a different scope and a different level of focus. But I need to get more hardware before I can get you guys into that. The unfortunate thing about engineering things is I have to have you shutting machines down and bringing them up. And for Linux System Administration, we're just going to be dealing with keeping them running. We're not going to be building them out like we do in Linux Systems Engineering. Yeah. All right, so down here, what's the course? It addresses how Linux systems works for an administration level inside the corporate environment. Like, what are companies wanting to pay you to do out in the field? Like, how can we go do this stuff, right? Seabear, you said, I actually installed and I've been playing around with Linux Mint. I may switch to Ubuntu, maybe hearing the community is more popular. Yeah. Seabear, it really depends what you want. You know, I know, and I never try to like besmirch or say anything bad about people that do like Arch, but people are always popping around going, I do Arch, and I'm like, that's wonderful. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that's not really being run in the corporate world. So Ubuntu is getting adopted more because it is now acceptable for government projects. So Ubuntu is being used more in the enterprise and stuff than it used to be. They've got a very like well-defined support model and release cycle now, which they didn't have even maybe like 8 years ago. So they're a lot better than they were as far as like any of this stuff. This lab is all Rocky stuff, and Rocky is back-ended by a company called CIQ. So you can actually buy maintenance from them if you're not doing the Red Hat thing. But that goes back to like what Ash was talking about on Saturday. Do you have like a vibrant community around it? Can you ask questions? Can you build your own stuff and push it back up in there? Or is that not acceptable? And there's different levels to that. Okay, so this is the kind of a big course. If this were a college course, typically college classes are like 40 to 50 total hours. This one's going to be 120 hours. So over the course of 16 weeks, you should be spending about 8 hours a week. I mean, you should be spending a good amount of time a week doing theory and things that I'm going to ask you about and tell you to go read, and then also like lab hours and stuff like that. Now, when I say theory, a lot of times we're talking like a textbook. I'm not going to have a textbook for this. It's not going to be my book. It's not going to be any of that stuff. It's just going to be, our theory hours are going to come from stuff that you can work on and stuff that you can read out there in the world and that kind of stuff, which maybe we'll codify down and write our own book one of these days around systems administration. And then, that could be the book that we use going forward. But for right now, this is just going to be different topics that we bring up. There may be some lectures that are out there in the world that we go find and that kind of stuff. All right, Quartz said you played with Mint Cinnamon a while back in Dual Boat, but wasn't really doing terminal stuff, just like the interface. Interesting. Yeah, there's there's a lot of reasons different people go Linux, right? There's no, I wouldn't say there's like a wrong answer for it either. So, but anyways, back to the course. Here's the things that I'm going to be teaching you and showing you. These are probably going to expand in the next week, and I am going to directly relate the course objectives down to what we're doing each week, right? So here's the 16 weeks of the course and what we're doing each of the different weeks. And when we're meeting, these are subject to change in case somebody's not around, in case I can't be around or somebody can't run the thing for me. There's that. But this is back to the question. I think this was the main question. This is why I pulled this up. Was Doc asked, are we going to use containers and, using the system? But for our lab portion of this, we're going to have stuff up in Killer Coda. You're going to be able to do the whole project portion that I have built up and set aside, where you're going to do like a project that runs through the whole thing, and you're going to pick if you want it to be Kubernetes or whatever type of security, whatever type of thing you want it to be on. It can be done up there in chunks, and you can work through it, or you can also use the Prolog labs. So the Prolog labs are the labs that I'm building out right now. I'm kind of doing this draw too. Doesn't Kubuntu solve that for people who want the KDE type environments? I don't know, Seabear. I haven't played with Kubuntu at all. In fact, I've never used, only one time ever have I used a Linux GUI professionally. And that was when I was at Best Western. They told me I could build my desktop however I wanted. And I said, all right, Linux? And they go, yeah, Linux is fine. So I built it out with Linux, and then I did a Linux desktop there. But that's the only time I've ever run that. Normally, for productivity reasons, it'll be like a Microsoft, a Windows type tool, and then I'll just SSH over to wherever I need to, which for me has never been a problem because I can just connect to anything. So here's the boxes. Do they have one CPU or do they have two? We'll check that here in a little bit. Might be two CPUs. The plan, we'll go through each week. We'll do discussions. You'll have those exercises to work through. Those exercises will be for you to keep as your notes when you're done, because you'll be typing probably directly in them. And then the suggested approach is studying individually and within a group. Now, you're not going to do the lab as a group. The lab's going to be your project, your final project, will be individually turned in. However, you will be assigned to groups for you guys to work on it. So you can work on stuff. You can bounce ideas off each other. I'll probably make like a thread. So we're going to be running it out of the project section of our Discord right here. So in the project section, I'll put something like, this is the discussion for, week 1, an example, right? This will be an example. Read an article. It'll be something like read an article, and I'll give an article and some article and answer these questions, right? And then so the questions will be, what did you like about it? What did you learn that you didn't know? What can you apply right now to your Linux? I don't know, something like that, right? And then what I'll do when I do this, I'll turn this into immediately like a thread. So I'll create a thread from it, and then anybody should be able to come in here and I think, let me see if I have, I don't know if I have projects set up like this. I'm pretty sure projects is set up where permissions are, people can write in threads. So like we'll give people, send messages in threads under this channel, right? So everybody will have access in here Yeah, Robodom, I'm like laying out like what we're going to be doing in that. Yeah. So now if any of you came in here to Prologue projects, I don't know, Robodom, if you want to test this. Wait, you're a mod, so you can do whatever you want anyways. But for you guys that aren't mods, maybe somebody can... I thought I already made this a thread. Okay, so here's a thread. Right? And then somebody should be able to come in here that's not a moderator, and they should be able to come in here and like generate responses to this, right? And then what we'll have is we'll have all of the threads of, you know, people's discussions and that kind of stuff. And I think that'll be valuable. People will... It might seem like busy work. Look, I've been a college professor for 16 years now. I can tell you, like, a lot of stuff we do looks like busy work, but it's not. Yeah, Robodom, you're root, or you're an admin. I think you can do whatever you want. So I don't think it matters. Like, you're not a good test because you already have admin. You know, you do whatever you want in the Discord. You can make new, you know, whatever's. Although Fisherman would be mad then because he doesn't like a lot of stuff. All right, but anyway, so what I'll be doing is I'll be posting this up. It'll be cleaned up before next Saturday, and then I'll be releasing each of the week's exercises that we're working on. So there will be, you know, the exercises, like the worksheet. There will be a lab. The lab will look kind of like this. No, that's my other thing. Get rid of that. The lab will look like this, and this is kind of the lab that I'm going to do tonight. What's going on here? Oh, what's going on with my lab? I don't know why I don't have any control over this lab. All right, we gotta go find what window is being stupid. Oh, I see. Well, that's annoying as shit. Don't save. Okay. And I've modified this all the way over. So if you guys wanted to see like what one of the labs will look like, this would be it. So you would jump into one of these boxes, right? One of these Linux boxes that we have out there. We've got Rocky 1 through 19. And you would come in and you would do all of the components of this discussion here. Let me look at one thing here. Let's make their space. I don't have... I need to make sure... I need to change my temp FS so that each of these has more disk space because we're already using a lot of this. So I need to clean that up. I need to give these a little more temp FS disk space. And then... CDA on MMT. Whoops, mound. You guys gotta help me. You guys gotta stop me from myself. Oh, they don't have. Oh, I don't have anything on XVDA. Okay. Well. All right, that's fine. The start of this lab then will be creating a file system on there and mounting it. Yeah, that should be... I think that'd be good practice, huh? What do you think? Ports and Doc tried it. What's that, Robodom? Oh, I missed some stuff. All right, sorry guys. So let me go look over here. So I've shown you guys this before. I've always got these little exercises at the beginning that you kind of like warm up with, right? So you just kind of go in and you do some stuff and you practice a little bit, and then pre-lab disk speed checks. This is an aside before lab. This is different ways to test reader writes in and out of the file system as you create them. Different types of RAID and different disk setups will give different speed of writes. This is a sample way to test them. Use these throughout the lab in each mount for fun and understanding. Okay, so before we make a directory space, we're going to do this other thing here, which will be to make FS .ext4 on dev xvda, right? So we can make fs check dev xvda for a file system. If it does not have one, make one, and that'll be that command right there. The way you will check it is lsblk dev xvda block ID. Block ID will do it. Yeah, it'll tell us that there's a file system type on it. If you do that on any of these other ones, it won't work because watch this. These other ones don't have like an xvdb, which is my other disk up there. There's nothing on it. Hey, how's it going, Quartz? We are, I mean, obviously I'm showing you guys my background, which I haven't done in a long time, but I just didn't want to move my green screen over, and I didn't feel like doing it. When I redo my office and turn my office around, I'll take some pictures of my office for you guys, but I will take my my green screen and I'll hang it up behind me, and then I'll be able to raise it and lower it. Currently, it's just like on some poles, and I just move it behind me when I'm doing my green screen stuff. But I'm just like, I don't really care today that much. All right. Make directory space. So we'll make a directory space, and then we will mount dev xvda to space, right? And if you do that, so whoops, I'll work on making that a little better looking, but this will be like one. Geez, that's terrible. All right, I don't want to do any of that stuff. 3, 4, and then you would be able to do these tests if you wanted to do. So this is an example at the beginning of how you can do speed tests throughout this lab as you're making and breaking and doing whatever you're doing within your kind of Linux space. All right, so we're on the box. We're on Rocky 19. And we've done all of these things, and we say for I in this, and that'll go build the files if we wanted to against space. And this would make some read tests to see how fast we can read, and then we can do cleanup. So this is our write test. Let's grab this guy and say format painter over this guy. Boom, right? So now it looks the same. So your write tests are there, your read tests are there, and then your cleanup tests are there. Oops. All right. So that looks pretty good for that right there. We'll test those as we go with the rest of the lab, but that's like a little pre-lab work. That's just disk speed check that you can do as you do the lab. Then we'll CD over to root. So we're on this box, CD to root. And what do? We're going to do an fdisk -l grep -i xvd. And we will see our 4 disks. They may be in different orders. Like you see here, A is on top, B, C, E. It's skipping D for some reason. That's what happened on our other ones too. That's fine. Who cares why our system skipped D? It did. It skipped it. It went to E. It could be because, well, I don't know why it's skipping the disk. I don't know. Muscleman development. Yeah, we could talk a little bit about that if you guys want. Give me 1 second real quick, guys. I need a real quick. I'm going to grab some water here. Let's do a real quick break. And then work advice. Right? Because I got to ask some word advice. I will, it hates the D. That's funny. I'll be right back. delete word advice. Quartz 1, you will be able to access Rocky from the internet. Yes. Here's my current architecture. Well, I'm working on it. We're still on break. Anybody on the internet will be able to jump into Streamer 1. Yeah, you guys can jump into Streamer 1 as the user, and then you can jump over into any of these devices, yes. One of the things we're going to do, hold on, I'll pop myself back on here. One of the things we're going to do for people who are doing the lab or doing the course is I will kick the labs off at everybody in the labs while we're sitting there. The problem will be that people will. We only have 19 servers up right now. That's all I've built in this environment. Rocky 1 through 19. I could probably squeeze out to about 40, but I'm kind of trying to keep it where we're going to have some performance, and if people are using them all at once, it's not too much of a problem, right? So what I'm going to hope is this: when we get done with maybe 60 people coming, and we go through the lesson, I'll say, hey, you know what, guys, go do whatever your thing. Hopefully only like 15 people or less want to hop in and do the lab right then, and other people will say, oh yeah, I'll do it throughout the week, and then those people can just hop on and ask questions or whenever. So oh yeah, Z-Love, that sounds terrible. Yeah, if your cursor's not blinking. You know what I hate is I keep PowerPoint behind so that you guys can see my little closed captioning, right? I don't know if you guys knew that, but that's how I do that, right? And it is super annoying that when I'm in another, like if I put another PowerPoint up over the top to show you guys something, I sometimes lose my mouse and I cannot get it to come back. Like I can alt tab it maybe, but for the most part, like I won't be able to have a mouse over another PowerPoint. It's super annoying. Some design decision was made at some point that nobody would ever need their mouse on top of a PowerPoint on top of another one, so that doesn't work. Like if I pulled up another PowerPoint, I could get it to happen like half the time. Super annoying. Okay, anyways, where were we at? We were gonna break some stuff. We were doing some labs, right? So I wanted to get this. Oops, this was from the talk the other day. Hold on. We'll save it. Whatever. I don't care. Get out of there. All right, get rid of that. Yeah, Musselman, I've used Mattermost, yeah. Me and my brother stood that up at AAA years ago, and we used Mattermost all the time. It was like our internal little Slack. And it really worked good. Like, it has a really good search function on it. So, like, you could go back and find, like, topics or when people would post problems and stuff. So, I used Mattermost probably from, like, 2017 to, like, 2020, maybe. So, my brother stood it up, and then we used it. Every time we did patching, we would all get down in Mattermost and we would do all our patching, coordinate it all out there like a bridge. You could be in it from outside the company as long as you were VPN'd in. I thought it worked really well. So Mattermost was pretty good. But here's the question before I went on break. The question was, what if, or what should people be doing that are trying to get jobs out in the world, right? And this is my take it or leave it advice as somebody who's been a college professor for many years and has given many hundreds of interviews now. This is my resume. Oh, we got ads. All right, we'll wait for ads. We'll wait. I can wait on ads. Or ads over on the Twitch side. Doc, you can absolutely use your own machine for all the labs and stuff. Yeah, you don't have to use my labs at all, no. The labs that I have up are going to be for anybody that wants to use them or nobody. Yep. The thing you really need to do is this. Well, we're holding off. We're holding off for a second. Giving people time. Giving people time. Lab's good ref too. Yeah. Um, where is? Okay, hold on. We're almost back, guys. We're almost back from ads on the Twitch side, so we'll go here in a second. We're basically like this right now until everybody gets back. All right. You guys are back from ads? It's true. It's true for Enzo Bear, but then they get to miss all this stuff. All right. I don't use those nearly as much as I should. Oh, Z-Love with the Prime, man. You know, Primes are great. Make sure you refresh your make sure you refresh your browser though for that. Oh yeah, Muscleman, look, I tell you guys all the time, like, hang out down the Discord, do whatever you want. Twitch is upping the price of their subs. I don't know how anybody's paying for subs anymore. Like, by the way, I don't know when I'm ever going to get out of, like, because I grew up in, like, poverty. I have 5 brothers and my parents did not make a lot of money. I don't go into that much, but through engineering, military and engineering, I've done pretty well for myself, right? And why I say that is I tell my friends, like, my friends grew up kind of poor like me, and we joke around like, when are you going to get out of that poverty mindset? When is like $5 not going to matter anymore? Well, I just heard that Twitch is jumping subs up to like $7.99 a month or something. I'm like, seven, and I'm like, I always do this to my wife. You guys see the interview where he's like, just like he's like offended. He's like, anyway, so I don't know like how people afford some of this stuff, but and like. They keep pumping up the numbers, and it's like, oh, is that only for mobile subs? I thought all of them were jumping up. So, yeah. Like, and look, I appreciate when you guys kick me a little bit or whatever. I try to just turn that back into community stuff anyways. I pay all the guest speakers for coming to talk to you guys. I think most of the guest speakers would probably come talk to you guys anyways, but I do that. Yeah. Fisherman, do you know bits cost different on mobile? I found that out. Like, I only buy bits on normal. By the way, I'm cheap as crap, but I use bits for people. Like, I just like flipping them a nickel here and there, or $1 or whatever. You know what I mean? But the point is, like, I use bits typically on streams. I don't do subs very often. Yeah, mobile subs are definitely different though. Yeah, because the percentage of it goes to the different stuff. Yeah, and now I wonder what that's gonna look like soon, because like all the prices are going up. So, all right. But the question was, guys, what, you know, you're somebody's trying to get a job. Who was it? I missed it. Muscleman. Was that you? No. Who was it? Who was it that was just... Where the hell is it? Yeah. Grad that hasn't found a job yet. All right. So, I won't go over the talk again, but I have a talk that I do on it, and I just did it the other day, but it's like excelling in the engineering field. But the point is, you know, I'll pull up one part of it real quick because I think this is an important thing to know. Hold on. I will give the talk again if you guys need, but real quick, it's right here at the bottom. Hold on. I won't pull it up all the way because we're not going to go through everything. But I want you guys to think about something real quick. When you're going to college, right? When you're going to college, or you're done with college, or even for anybody, if it's not college related, just anybody that wants to be an engineer or an administrator, but maybe you're not going to go to school, or you're done with school. I think Muscleman was saying he's pretty much done with school. This is the thing, right? You got to know what a company wants you for. Like, why does a company want you around? Like, we deal as engineers, we deal in truth. As administrators, you deal in truth and system uptime, right? And our utility, or what the value we add to a company, is directly related to what we know and how quickly we can get to the right answer. So that's the value you add to a company right there. And then if you know that that's the value you add, then your goal is to figure out how to keep yourselves ready to do that going forward. Or in this case, what I'm about to show you, it's how to prove to a company that you are valuable to them. Because, you know, there's 2 things people want to know in an interview. Can you do the job, and will you do the job? Can you do the job is pretty easy. I know if most people can do the job within about 3 minutes of talking to them, 3 to 5 minutes of talking to somebody, I know if they're, you know, snapping, or if they're, you know, I don't know, just like crawling through life on their face or whatever. the different ways that you can act and maneuver. So the reason I bring that up is, then if you look at my resume, right? This is my resume, but it's generic. Don't worry. I mean, if you call 867-5309, you're not going to get me. You won't get a hold of me. and then somewhere in Glendale, Arizona, or whatever, and then there's my GitHub. That really is my GitHub, though. But then you lead with your strengths. By the way, you try to keep a resume under 1 page, but as you're near the middle of your engineering career, sometimes that will go up to 4 pages, depending on if you really have to show the minutia and the types of technologies you can go up to more than 1 page. But I heard this early on in my career, and this has really been true. When I started, I had a 1-page resume. In the middle of my career, it got big. And then now, like near the end of my career, it's 1 page again. Because honestly, I can talk about anything in here, but I don't give a shit about any of this stuff. Like any of the stuff down here. Like if you were like, can you tell me about when you were doing this government engineering for this Unix consultation company in Tempe, Arizona? I would be able to tell you, yeah, it was a company called CGI, if anybody cares. They're still a pretty big company. They still do a lot of federal contracts. And I could be like, yeah, I could tell you all about the federal stuff that I did for each individual state around a thing called the Affordable Care Act. I did all of their websites. Well, I did all the systems underneath their websites and stuff. And how can one do that for an automated? Can I tell you guys the best tool for a resume that I know of? If you're not going to use, like I have Word because I've used Word forever, but if you're just like, guys, I'm an open source guy and I refuse to use any Microsoft product, I'm not going to tell you LibreOffice. Hold on. Hold on. Have you guys seen, now I can't remember the name of it. Somebody help me here. What's the name of that? Yeah. That was the federal one. I was on all the state ones that bought into their own things. What was that called, guys? Hold on. Somebody tell me here. What's the name of that tool? We were using it a few weeks ago. Now I'm sad because I can't remember what it is. That's exactly what it was. Thank you. Overleaf. That's exactly what it was. The Mad Monk saved me over on the YouTube side. Yeah, Overleaf. I have a friend who is finishing up his doctorate in economics, and he uses Overleaf for everything. So the Overleaf presentations, if you guys haven't seen these, they're really slick, man. But you can actually, if you don't want to use their site, Overleaf is open source. So you can download and run your own Overleaf internally. You can send your own LaTeX markdown to it and generate your own websites and whatever you want right out of this. It's pretty slick. Your websites or your resumes or whatever. Yeah. This is what Ben uses. Ben Westrich that came and talked to you guys a few times about econometrics, and he was talking specifically about marijuana prices in Colorado once they added what was the burden that it added to the cost of real estate in Colorado Springs, well, in all of Colorado. And I think he determined it was like somewhere between like 7 and 13% increase. It was interesting, right? And he started with data well before any recessions or any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, Overleaf is one of the best things on the web. It's so good, and the templates are good. And here's your resume right here. Here's some resume templates. But the cool thing is you change the markdown and it goes and generates the new page, either in here or in your own, like I said, your own open source instance of it if you wanted. And yeah, I've actually kicked around the idea of just setting it up and just having an API where I can just go hit stuff and it'll just generate a new page for me. I've thought about doing that, but you know, by and large, you guys, I'm lazy, so I just do it in Word. But back to the question of what do I need to do to help get me, so Musselman, right? You're working on getting into the field, right? You're out of college, maybe you're done with school. You know, what are you doing to present your best version of yourself to companies? And I would posit it's a few things. Lead with, like, look, you'll see that I don't lead with my education. My education's at the bottom of this. That's not the most important thing to me. In the industry, I think the most important thing is relevant certs and your most recent experience. So those are the things I want. Yeah, those are the things that I want up front. I'm leading with my strengths, right? So let's say, Musselman, that you want to round it out a little bit and get some certs. We have a bunch of stuff for certs down here. I always show you guys this. Here's a bunch of free certs that you can go get just to kind of stuff. Man, we were watching. Uh-oh. What happened here? That's no good. That's my phone, but my phone's not connected. My phone's way over here. So, one of the other night when I got back from, I got back from Austin on Friday, and then me and my wife always do date night, right? And then now that I think about it, though, I think we watched this Saturday night, so I might be wrong. But we watched this movie from the early 1980s. I think it was 1982, and it was called The Night Shift. And really, it's actually funny. It's a comedy, but if I had to explain it to you, and you were like, well, how can you reference it compared to something nowadays? I watched all of Breaking Bad. I love Breaking Bad. Night Shift is like a 2-hour movie that is Breaking Bad, but it's a comedy. So what it is it's he works in a morgue, and then they run a brothel out of there. So instead of selling meth, they're selling women. But it was really well done. It was really funny. Anyways, where I'm going with that is Michael Keaton's in it, and when he wants to go look tough, because he's like, well, the girls, they need me to look tough. He like bunches up like paper, and he like puts it in, so he's like got these, so he's got like these muscles, right? Like his muscles are bulging, and then he pulls them out. Well, anyways, like later on in the movie, they're getting into like an argument with somebody. He's like, do I need to put my muscles on? And he's like putting his muscles down in his arms and stuff. It's actually really funny. Is API Academy down? No. Oh, wow. They must just not give a crap about that. They must just not care. That's been down for a long time, guys. God, last time somebody told me that was down was probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago. That's that. You know what? Somebody should send, because the company that runs that is yeah, was it you, Muscleman? Last time I showed you guys this, and you're like, that shit's still not up. The people that run that are the same ones that just bought who the hell are they? They're the same ones that just bought yeah, well, they fucked up VMware is so entrenched in companies that the only way in all the world that I could think to dislodge it was to charge 6 times as much a year for it. And companies are like, we can't. In this economy or any economy. Broadcom, that's it. Yeah. Broadcom. Yeah, Broadcom. Yeah, they were the ones that back-end API Academy, and apparently they don't give a shit about it. Yeah. Broadcom. I love it. Anyways, guys, this is how I do it. I try to give in here, when you look at my bullet points, I try to say what I'm doing and how it impacts the company and what the improvement is, and if possible, I give percentages or numbers, like patch deployment system that hits all CVSS scores that are 7+ within 30 days, and CVSS scores, all CVSS scores within 90 days. So that was how we kind of did patching. Who was the huge one that just announced that they were getting off ESXi? Yeah, and they were going over to Proxmox. Yeah. And then somebody posted the other day the Proxinator, which is 45 drives. If you guys don't know who 45 drives are, man, I got a project from 2015 that I built a server out with them. I've showed it to you guys before. But anyways, all right. So that's our thing, and these are the things that I think you should go do and keep yourself relevant in the industry and that kind of stuff. So, all right. But anyways, we're doing our lab. You guys will you'll have access to the Rocky Labs. These will look like this. Now I might grab, oops, Control Z. I might grab this, that over a little bit so it looks a little better. Right, that looks pretty good. So then that's how you'll get into the environments, right? And then these Rocky machines will all be back-ended. We'll do dotted lines. They'll all be back-ended to NFS shares. They will have multiple disks inside of them as well. So Rocky 1 will have, right, we always got to draw our disks like this. Oh, that can be a straight one. Our disks always kind of look like this when we draw them. Something like this tends to be how we do our disks. Right. That tends to be how I draw a disk when I'm drawing a disk for a system. And then that will be a 3-disk kind of system for you to use for your raids or whatever. And then that'll be, you know, all those types of things going on. And then we're going to back end to an NFS. And this NFS will be NFS share. And that'll be /home and /opt, right? So that's an NFS share that'll be shared by all of these nodes will have access to that little NFS share. Boom. So that'll be kind of like what the lab environment kind of looks like, right? And that'll be where we do all of our stuff. Is the certified in cybersecurity really free upon passing the exam? Complete the application form and pay $50. Yeah, so Musselman, ISC Squared, which is that organization, they're pretty good about that stuff. Upon passing the exam, complete the application form, pay. Yeah, and then ISC Squared does require you to pay, like, I think I pay $150 a month, or $150 a year to maintain mine. It might be a $125, but I have my CISSP and my CCSP through them. So that ISC Squared cert is a very good kind of entry level. That one is the entry level cybersecurity one. That one's like a pretty good, like, basics of cybersecurity. And I have a PowerPoint on it, but I just haven't done the presentation for all of you guys yet. So one of these days I will do that presentation and put it up on YouTube. And then that'll be our studying for that cert for people that want to do it. Also, you know, I mean, I don't want to get into any of the politics of anything, so I'll just tell you they are doing 1 million free, but 500,000 of them will be for who they deem disadvantaged, minority. There's a whole bunch of things that you can go look up on there, but of the 1 million free certs, the first 500 are assigned to any of those things. So that's something to think about. Okay, you know, I mean, if you fit into any of those categories, which, you know, I don't know if anybody does, but it's something to think about. Okay, so we've got this. I think this looks like what we kind of want it to. We'll be adding more to these labs as we go. I have other lab devices for you guys to get in, but during this 16-week thing, I will probably focus on sorry, boss messaged me something. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks good enough to show like what the presentation is. Oh, let me go put I'm going to put in what this actual connection string is right here. So for somebody that was connecting, this would be prolog.asus, so prolog.asuscom.com on port 2022. I don't do any funny ports or nothing like that. That'll be the connection in right there. So it might be easier to move this up here and just show the internet coming in from here. Right, like this. Internet coming in from here. Get rid of that. Anybody on the old interwebs coming in, and then they're going to connect to prolog.asuscom.com on port 22, and then that's going to get them into this. They're going to come in as a streamer 1 user, so actually this will look even more. Streamer 1 at prolog.asuscom.com. That's an actual login, guys. You can actually try to log into that right now. Now, I wouldn't advise people hammering on that for your own reasons, because if you log into that 3 times or 5 times and fail, you'll be locked out forever. Your IP will go on my ban list. Some of you guys know how that works. Some of you guys have been around for that. So I wouldn't try that until you know what the password is. So there you go. What happened? Oh yeah, Musselman. Sorry about missing that stuff. What I was saying was, I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah. The ISC Squared is a pretty good organization. So you got to keep up your stuff though. Yeah, you can keep trying from different IPs and getting them all locked out if you want. I think some people have been trying that for years actually. All right, so that's a good enough kind of start to our environment. I always like mess around with my drawings later and try to make them more useful. Sometimes I color code them, but since I'm colorblind, they're pretty much blue or white. What's the pass? Eyes. I'll give you guys the new pass will be up in the Discord next when I'm ready for testing to start, because I'll probably have testing a few days before. I will post it up in the sandbox channel. I'll do it in the projects channel. Oh man, Muscle Man, you got an anonymous gift sub, so now you don't have to worry about it for a month. Make sure you refresh your browser though. So thank you, anonymous gifter. We have anonymous gifters run through here every now and then, but I suspect I know who they are, but you never know. So, all right. What else do we have going on here then? We've got the lab general idea of what we're doing is going to look good, and how we rebuild the nodes and my deployment methodology for those rocky nodes is really pretty well down right now. What I'm going to do is when you guys leave the labs, they're going to reboot every night. So the servers are going to reboot every night, and then the servers will reboot every night, and I will have I'll have it kind of as a protocol when you guys log out, it'll reboot the servers. Maybe that's all I'll do. Maybe I won't reboot them every night. I'll only reboot them when you guys log out. So I'll probably write just a script down into the root user so that when you log out, it just kicks the box over. So that shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, I think that'll be good for everybody. Good practice. All right. Oh, I didn't finish. I never finished going through that lab. Well, we went through that lab the other day on stream, so we don't have any. Yeah, ops to dev. So that's going to be what the next 16 weeks are. Is I'm going to keep putting out more and more ops, or more and more exercises and labs and projects for people to do. Yeah. So people will have. Yeah. There's how to access the lab typically is up here in Sandbox channel. So if you go to the Sandbox channel, and you guys want to, so let me show you guys the normal way. This is the out of band other way that people get into our labs. So you come to Prolug, asuscom.com. I don't have a certificate set up for it right now, so you just got to connect to it, and you get dropped into Apache Guacamole. So this is right there in Discord, and then you come in here and you say you're some user, and you log in. Oh. There we go. And then now from here, you can jump into any of these other nodes. Now these are other nodes in our lab that are unrelated to those ones. So I go connect into like blue node 1, and then I'm now in here. I think I can sudo for inmate. And then I think inmate, yeah, I don't think inmate can actually go up to root. So if you know Scott's password, what? Or if you know root's password, there you go. Now you're in root. But even when you're in here, you're everything's being tracked and everything's being sent up to my low key. And I think most of you guys that have been around have seen that before, right? How do we keep track of what's going on in the labs? Well, you can do all kinds of things in the lab. By the way, to get access to that, all you got to do is message me on Discord. Just send me a message, and it'll do it. But watch this. So we come over here, and we'll just do it here. We'll say go to this one. Got to log into my home lab here. Admin. And on here, we'll switch it from this to dungeons, and we'll switch it from failed to nothing. And now I have my right. And if I'm doing this stuff here and typing it down here, it's also being captured up here in the refresh of this page. So as this page goes and scrapes the logs, everything that's happening down in there is being logged and sent up into our Loki system. Robdom said, out of curiosity, what potential roles could the 16-week course prepare us for? Well, let me show you guys this. So some of you guys have been around. But for those of you that have not been around, we went a while back and there was we were sitting around. Where do I have this? I thought it was one of my most recent ones, but maybe I don't have it over here anymore. Hold on. I don't remember where I have it, guys. LDAP stuff, network. Unrelated. I thought I had it right here somewhere. That was us looking at CKA stuff, but no, we were looking at what is this thing? We were talking about getting a job in the industry, and we were looking specifically at some of the... Yeah, I don't know where they are. Anyways, it was a bunch of questions. And Robodon, I'd say what I would tell you is they would prepare you for a lot of like Linux systems administration or Linux junior type engineers. I need to name my notepad stuff. I skipped the ones that were named mostly. But yeah, I don't know. LogSec is a little better for that stuff, but I don't think I have it. I don't think I kept it down here. No. LogSec is pretty good for at least being by date. Yeah, but Robodom, if we just look, I'll just show you here. Just go to like dice.com. And this is what we were doing that day. So I'll just pull up my LogSec. And I'll just say I want a Linux engineer or Linux administrator, right? Yeah, Z-Love. It's so convenient. I do really love Notepad++ because I've had systems crash on me, or I've had systems run out, and Notepad++, like, hey, bro, I got all your tabs here. What do you want me to do with them? They're still in the same order, you know? So, anyways, all right. So let's go look. So there's some Linux stuff in Chandler. I'm probably okay with it being outside of the U.S. or outside of directly here. These guys are always going. I mean, they're either a shitty place to work or they're like a recruiting company. Oh, they are a recruiting company. Okay, I was going to say, God, they have this open all the time. So, Linux administrator for gov.cio or gov.cio. What is this? Join a clinical service product line support team with the Department of Veterans Affairs. I think I get a plus on that because I'm a vet. But let's go look. So Robodom's question was, oh yeah, I don't roll out of bed for that kind of money. So, but that's good. That's not bad money. I'm just saying that's not when you've been engineering for a while type of money. But anyway, so Linux Systems Administrator, we come in here and what did they say? Windows? Oh God. Okay. Sometimes you end up doing Windows because you're a Linux engineer, but this is the thing. And what we were doing is we were coming in here and we were grabbing all of these things that they wanted, and then we were putting it in a notepad, and then we were going and we were looking at all these pieces and we were just doing them in the Linux world. And that's what I would tell you, Robodom, that this is kind of what this course is readying you for, is the ability to say, do I know how to ensure the availability of dev test environments? Okay. Do I know how to check all my servers are up? Do I know how to SSH into them and check that their services are up inside the servers? So the servers are up, hit it all with a ping sweep. My services are up. I can SSH in and check the first time, but then I write a little Ansible playbook that just goes and does it all for me and gives me a little report in Teams. And that nice little report says environment is green for the dev environment. All 10 servers are up. Nobody's logged in and no servers have rebooted in the last 24 hours. That to me is a big thumbs up. And some of you guys might go, oh, that's preposterous. Who would write that? If you guys have been in Discord for more than 10 minutes, you know that this pumps out every day right here. Did you guys know that I have used this on multiple government systems over the years? And to my knowledge, people are still using them everywhere. I know they're using them in the government or in the college systems I've worked on. I know that I have an Air Force system that still uses this because I'm still actively maintaining that Air Force system. And like, look, it just pumps out every day and just tells me how used the systems are and are there any unreachable systems unreachable. That becomes a problem that I fix that morning and no users ever have problems. Z-Love, I've been convinced of that too. I've thought, like, at the risk of being a conspiracy theorist, I have thought that, like, some companies just keep job positions open just to do it. I'm pretty sure, like, I've thought that for a long time, even since I was, like, a junior engineer, because I wouldn't even get a call back. And I would have, like, every single thing that they wanted, and I would be like, I'm surprised nobody's called me back on this one, at least that one. But yeah, most of the job, I would say in the last 15 years, the jobs that I've gotten were all from like people I had networked with or people directly called me, because I don't remember finding anything when I was looking. Never. But I'm always looking, by the way, so it's funny, like I am always looking because I have college students and I'm always like looking at stuff like that. Yeah, and it shows the company grow. Yeah, I'm, at the risk of sounding like I'm really a conspiracy theorist, I 100% believe that some of these are never hiring, even though they always have jobs up. That being said, Kalins, man, this place has been around since, this place has been around since, like, forever. And where are they out of? They used to be, it looks like they probably got bought if they're out of Draper, Utah. They used to be centered out of Phoenix. Kalins was. And then they've got a job, $100K a year. And what do they want? They want you to, they want Proxmox experience. So some of you guys that want to get better at Proxmox, there you go. Proxmox virtualization clusters ensuring high availability and performance. Boom. Linux OS administration. You need to be able to install, configure, and maintain systems. Now, like I said, I can't help you much with the install on this one, unfortunately, but we can do all the configuring and maintaining of those systems. The install stuff, man, honestly, you can practice that on your own inside of like a VMware, like a VMware player or an Oracle VirtualBox or something, because that's there for you. Looks like you got to be on call. There's always an on-call rotation. You got to be pretty high up to get out of that, or you got to become a manager to get out of that. Most of the principals I know still have some type of on-call, even amongst themselves. Automation, you got to be able to use Ansible and shell scripting for configuration management and task automation. All the stuff we do in my Ansible labs that are out there free on Killer Coda show you how to do your automation piece. Troubleshooting, well, I've showed you guys how to do troubleshooting. You just got to go practice it, right? And we're gonna run into troubleshooting in our 16-week course, because even when we don't want to, we're gonna have to fix things. So even if we didn't mean to break something, things are gonna break. So we're gonna have to figure out how to get that working. All right. So security, make sure security protocols are followed. Patch management, access control, all the things that an administrator really kind of makes their money at. Making sure your servers are updated and running, and making sure only people have access that should. Making sure that Bob Blurski isn't taking your servers down. If you guys don't know who Bob Blurski is, he's the guy who messes everything up in Fisherman's Labs. You need to understand monitoring tools like Zabbix, Libre NMS, or Prometheus. They really want you to know, like, Prometheus. And you say, well, how do I get the basics of Prometheus? I've shown you guys some of this Prometheus stuff, right? We can just go to Prometheus, and there are free... where's that free stuff? Well, here's all the Prometheus stuff, but in our Discord, there's, I think it's under our Prolog. Maybe it's earlier under projects. It was when we were getting ready for, the PromQL. So there's this PromQL cheat sheet, and you can go in here and learn how to use Prometheus on an actual Prometheus instance that they have for you. Yeah, B. Blurski's the worst end user, that's true. And you can come in here and you can modify this for like the last 5 minutes. Give me the last 5 minutes. And then now, whoops. Oh, whoops. So give me the last 5 minutes of stuff, and then I can learn how to do these different queries. Right? Yeah. Assembly without going insane. or just learn how to look at raw packets on the network, right? That'll do it too. Just watch the kernel packets come into the Linux kernel. So you can come in here, you could learn how some of this stuff works, and then you'd be ready. And by the way, this is in the Discord under Prolog projects, the PCA stuff, right? So you guys have all these things to go and spend time with. Did this actually work? Oh shit, hold on. Oh god. All right, everything's working. Okay. So that's good. People can post in there. That's good. And then they've got the things that they want you to maybe have some certifications, right? Relevant certifications to those tasks. Those ones are all good. But at the end of the day, they want you to be able to demonstrate that you can do Linux systems administration. And this is remote, so you can hop in remote. So, there you go. All right. So, Robodom, what I would tell you is that 16-week course will get you... I think if you're doing it and you're taking it seriously and you're working through the projects, you will be as ready to go into any one of these junior roles as anybody else that's out there in the world. Anybody who throws their ring, their hat in the ring and says, I can do this. You will be as ready as any of them because you will have been touching the systems for 4 months. And again, if you only do the 8 hours a week minimum, but if you're giving it some time and you're probably spending like 20 hours a week and you're like actually studying and trying to actively get better and you're talking and the same stuff you could do anyways, I think you could be pretty ready to go and get one of these roles out here. So that's my thoughts on it anyways. Let the log catch me. Yep. Okay. So we've got this. We've got the lab environment, kind of the way that the labs are going to work. And I'll pop that over into one of the docs here sooner than later. We don't need to worry about that connection. All right. Which course? Oh, Inside Sources. We're doing the Professional Linux Users Group Linux System Administration course. It's kind of like my little pilot 16-week course that you guys can do. Muscleman, I would say, how do you prove skills that you learn from self-hosting? The way that I know that somebody knows something from their resume, even if you just say, I've done self-hosting of X amount of websites that generated, 18,000 or 100,000 unique visitors per month, this kind of stuff. What I would do is I would say for each of your bullet points that are there, expect somebody to ask you about them. Because when I look at somebody's resume, I ask them specific things off of there. And just be ready to talk to it. So be ready to competently and like the industry. And I'm not a web hoster. I've hosted LAMP servers and Kubernetes servers over the years. But what I would tell you is, if somebody says, well, tell me a little bit about how maybe you did authentication for your web. They say, okay, well, we didn't actually have any authentication, but the way that like a user end authentication, we were just static pages. But the way that we did it was we could get in on the back end. We used a server connection in, and then we jumped up to some administrator, or we came in through a web portal and we could do. So just being able to talk about the process of what you did. And somebody might ask you, like if you say, hey, I did self-hosting for all these years, they'd say, well, how'd you get business? They say, well, most of it was word of mouth. And then as soon as somebody contacted me with interest, I would tell them that, there's a 2-week engagement where we go back and forth and we etch out what your site looks like. And then I give you a proof of concept, basic template of your site. You approve with the color scheme and the format and structure going forward. And then I build out your page. You can make a few edits at the end and then we're finished. And the whole turnaround takes about 5 weeks or something. I don't know, whatever. You're like, yeah, so you have a runner and a CI/CD pipeline. You have to be able to talk to the process of building out a CI/CD pipeline. And somebody could say, well, what do you do when something breaks? And then you say, well, it just so happens that something broke, a few months ago. And what I ended up doing was looking through and making sure that when the customer updated to a new version of the template without telling me, that wasn't being fed through my log. Yeah, it is almost always check logs, right? But when you can give stories and then you say, And by doing this, I caught all future instances of that ever happening for my customers, because now whenever my customers submit a new template and it goes and changes the whole schema, it alerts me and stops before it publishes to their real page, so that we can have a human check, and then a human has to actually hit the deploy button. And then you can acknowledge. That makes deployments a little longer, but it's safer because now nobody ever goes to production with a broken page. I don't know. Look, I don't know anything about web development, but those are the kind of things that I would want to do and show if these are the things that you did for 5 years as a whatever. So yeah, Muscleman, what I would do is I would make sure that that's reflected on your resume, and then anything on your resume, make sure you can talk to it. Those would be my piece of advice for that, for sure. Because at the end of the day, the only two things anybody asks in a job interview, the only two they're going to ask you all kinds of bullshit, but what they want to know is, can you do the job and will you do the job? And how you present yourself and how you explain things is going to greatly help their opinion of you being able to do the job. So, something to think about. Oh, and Boa Morte, hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Is that like Boa, like good, Morte, like death? Is that like the good death? Is that Portuguese? I don't know. I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for 20 years. I only know Boa and Combate and Paro, and I think that's about it. Boa, Combate, and Paro. That's all the Portuguese I know. That's all I know. And whatever the Portuguese is for Scott, stop, he's already dead. That's funny. All right, so we won't do these labs right now because we've done this one before. In fact, I tuned this up on stream a while back. I think, and this will be one of our actual labs. It may even be the first lab, even though you go, wait a minute, Scott, the disc lab isn't supposed to be in week 4. Systems administration, life comes at you fast. Sometimes we switch stuff up, right? So it'll be like Wild Card. If any of you ever watched It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I'm a wild card. The wild card can hit at any time. So we'll have that. I'll probably release these as PDFs because I know not everybody's going to have DocX, and not everybody's going to have Doc, or LibreOffice. So I'll probably just release these as PDFs because then everybody can open them in a browser. I think that's fair, right? Boa call, skip stupid jobs that never hires. Yeah. You could make courses for Udemy. There's nothing stopping you. I like LeanPub. I got a book out on LeanPub. That's done okay. Hasn't done great, but it's done okay. Just hanging out there for people that are like, oh, that's interesting. He's got a bunch of labs, and I want to go and have like more reading about them. What about plain text or Markdown? I would learn Markdown in whatever type of Markdown you use. So like, I used to use a whole lot of Markdown inside of MediaWiki, and that's a pretty common Markdown format because that's like what all of Wikipedia is written in. So like I can do that Markdown pretty well. I didn't even think about plain text. Well, I do still want to include some images. What's that one? There's a search tool, like a logging tool like this called I think it's Atom, ATOM. Is that right? Somebody help me out here. And you could draw ASCII art, and it would draw the actual lines for you in a diagram. Did you guys any of you guys ever use that? Well, I have Logsec. This is Logsec. But there's another one where you draw. I don't know if Logsec could do that. That would be cool. No, there's one. I think it's ATOM. Hold on real quick. Let's see. I don't think it's open source anymore. Atom Notes. I don't think it was an actual note tool. Note open source. It was an open source tool. Text editor. Yeah, I don't know if they're still releasing it. Hold on, but when they were releasing it back in the day, it looks like they're still. When did they last? What was their last update? Oh, yeah, it's been a while. It's been 2 years. Yeah, Enzo Bear. Yeah, thanks for coming. You're always welcome. Hang out down in the Discord. You guys know that. Look, they archived it. All right, here's their official announcement. Yeah, I remember hearing that they had sunset this, and I'm not sure why. I want to say everybody that I knew that used this tool was a Red Hatter. So I want to say somebody on the Red Hat team was doing this, running this, and I think they were done. Yeah, I think they kind of moved away from it. Electron framework, yeah. Yeah, so they did a sunset date, and they got rid of it. How's it going, IceQ4? Or IceQ4? How's it going? We are, we're just messing around today. We worked a little bit, and we did a little bit on making sure the lab looked good. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm just kind of hanging out. Wife should be home not too long, so I'll go back. Me and her are watching a show right now, so go back to relaxing a little bit, and then I'll get up early to go wrestle again tomorrow, because I wrestle at 5 a.m. every morning, if you guys don't know that. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but we just call it wrestling, so it's easier for everybody to remember. Doc, you said you're doing web design right now, just for a new laptop. No one's interested in Linux admins, plus cash is only so long. Yeah, Doc. What I would tell you, people do want. I feel like, I mean, at least, you know, I've been in the industry so long that I watch guys come into it some, but sometimes, and I hate to. I know sometimes this sounds bad when I say it like this. Let me get rid of that. Sometimes you do have to. Let's go to my Linux Systems Administration drawing. And actually, I need to use some of the stuff out of this drawing for our talks. But this is like the circle of life for like systems administration and engineering right here. And to that point right there that you just said, Doc, over on the YouTube side, he was saying people aren't paying for Linux. They're not interested in Linux admins right now. Fair. A lot of people, sysadmins tend to start over here on the left. This is a diagram. It's called the PPDIOO. PPDIOO. See if it gets it. PPDIOO. Which is prepare, plan, design, implement, operate, and optimize. And it comes from Cisco, and it goes with networking typically. But this is also true of all systems. What did I miss here? Hold on, IceQ. Do you have a post together on your Linux course where it's written down? What's the course about? Sorry to ask so blunt. It's going to be Linux Systems Administration. Everything about Linux. Linux. Eat, drink, sleep. Go to the bathroom without being crass. Linux. All Linux. Is proper project plan. We're doing all Linux. I don't know what else to tell you. You're going to do a lot of Linux commands. Lots of Linux. That's all it is. Linux until you're like, Scott, I've had enough Linux. Until you push back from the table and say, I'm done. I don't want any more out of the trough of Linux. That's the goal. The goal is for your fingers to hurt. Anybody here ever played guitar? And you play guitar until your fingers actually start to callous? Anybody here ever played? Or piano's not the same. Piano doesn't do it to your fingers. But holding the strings of a guitar... I play right-handed, so this is my left hand over here. And yeah, you play until your fingers have calluses on them. You actually get like little lines from the kind of whatever's. I think they're different on different. I run a Dreadnought, which is kind of a thicker body acoustic, right? Anyways, the question meant to get into Linux. And I would tell you, typically, and this sucks, and I hate to have to say this to you guys, but you almost always have to go over here first. You almost nowadays, and it's not always, but a lot of times you got to start in the network operations or the help desk or the security operations is a good one. If you can get a security operations job. So when you guys are looking for Linux jobs, don't skirt over knock and sock. The problem with them is this. This is I hate to say it again like this, but it's the young man's game. It's you might be working the night shift on some of this. And you say, "Well, how do I get around that? I just want to go be a Linux engineer." 4 years of college? Like this is one of the bad things. I mean, but think about what you're asking somebody when you want to be a Linux systems administrator for them. You want the keys to run their entire operation, all their back end data, all this other stuff. Yeah, so network operations, security operations, and help desk, it's all part of operating the system and keeping the lights on. But you can raise up pretty high here and get pretty good set of skills in here. And then I tell you guys all the time, when you want to move into these other roles, which pay more and are more of like the project work, not just sysadmin stuff, I tell you, well, what are you doing with the little stuff you're given? This is that concept of stewardship, right? And I know people are like, oh, where'd you get the idea of stewardship? It's the idea that, hey, what are you doing to make the thing you're doing now better? Do you just go into work every day, and then after you go into work every day, do you just pick up your pail at exactly 8 hours? You pick up your little lunch pail and you leave, and you don't think about work? I'm not telling you have to work more. What I'm telling you though is, do you spend like 6 hours doing your job and then 2 hours making the documentation better and improving things and starting little initiatives where like you are the person, like I do stuff like I train these guys over here from my Linux engineering teams. I train the operations people. And then we use those people, yeah, get rid of the tech debt. And you add value to the organization. And then when they're looking for somebody to do this other stuff and they're watching you do well over here, then they bring you over there. It's also working smarter, not harder, 100%. I tell people all the time, when you're over here doing engineering stuff, guess when you can take a vacation? You can't take a vacation when your shit's broken, and you can't take a vacation when you haven't trained other people how to use your stuff. So if you're not doing what we call open kimono work, like showing everybody, open kimono means I don't have any weapons on me. You can see my whole front, right? They open their kimono. It's a terrible term, but it's true. You can see all the stuff I've done, so now I can go take a break. And if you don't want to do that as an engineer, all right. But getting in is understanding. Getting in the field is understanding. What does the company want me for? What value do I bring to them? And then looking at how to prove you can do the job, and looking at how to prove that that you will do the job. Can one write that term out for me so I can remember? I don't understand it fully. What are you asking, ICQ? I don't. Tell me. You're saying this right here? You can copy this if you want. You screenshot that. Yeah, it's open kimono. It's a generic term for I'm coming to this with no arguments. I'm not hiding anything. I've opened my kimono so you can see I don't have a sword on me. I am not armed. I am only slightly less dangerous because I'm not armed. But anyways, yeah. We used to call it that, like, because sometimes you're working with other government projects, and sometimes people like to hold things back and not give information out, and then read into everything that happens and stuff. Yeah, and Doc, that is another point. Everybody wants sysadmins with experience. That's true. So I would tell you guys that what we can do, and in the sysadmin stuff, we're going to be doing this right here. We are going to plan a project. So you guys are each going to have one project. Japanese use that saying, or did that evolve from the Second World War? ICQ, I don't know where that came from. I heard it in the Defense Department, and the guy I heard originally, well, sorry, I was working for one of the 13 shielded agencies, and the guy who said it originally had been in the Navy, so I don't know exactly where it came from. Yeah. All right, so yeah. Anyways, that's that. We're not really. Boom. Boom. Edit, copy. We'll go throw this right into our... So when I do PDF this, it'll be right here. Boom, right? So then you guys will have the... Get that a little higher. No. Get this just a little bit smaller. There we go. All right. That's pretty good. All right. What am I missing here? Hammocks. Hopefully this stuff's useful to you. Thanks for the follow. Expression open. The kimono actually originated in feudal Japanese times and referred to the practice of proving that no weapons were hidden within. Did a quick Reddit. Nice. The Mad Monk, I would expect nothing less. That's a good one. All right. Let me get this out of the way so you guys can see my talking again. Okay. So that's now part of that discussion, and I'll keep adding to the syllabus kind of as we go. What else do we have? I'm not going to work right now too much on the lab, so we'll keep the labs to a minimum for right now. We'll get that ready throughout the week. What else do we have? We could do. We haven't done Ranger check tonight. Let's see if Ranger Cam's up. Ranger Cam should be up. Ranger is he's getting older, guys. He's getting slow. In fact, this morning when I came in from the gym, he knows. The Ranger knows that if he gets to when I'm dropping my stuff in the laundry when I first get home from the gym in the morning, take all my stuff off, throw it in the laundry. Ranger knows that if he can get to the laundry room while I'm in there, I'll give him a treat. But today he didn't want to leave this little rug and come down the hallway. And I think it's because he's been sliding a little bit too much again. So I brought the treat to him, and I was like, all right. If he had been a younger dog, I'd have been like, nope, we got to walk down here. But he's old, so got to give him a little bit of a break. But yeah, that's my fierce guard dog downstairs right there, being Ranger. I've long suspected I could just leave Ranger Cam up, and you guys would be more interested in him than me. Yeah. I've long suspected people would watch him more than me, but as he doesn't, man, me and the wife have been talking because what is it, September? His birthday is end of October, and he'll be 13, and we're like, we hope he makes it, because he's getting there, man. He's getting older. Like when he stands, he kind of shakes on all four of his legs now, so he's getting older. Yeah. What's the presentation in the morning? Wish y'all a great. Yeah, Doc. Well, hopefully it all works out, man. Let us know down in Discord if you're there. Yeah. I'm a big fan of music. Not gonna lie, I like your platform. Nice. Yeah. Well, ICQ. That's the goal. Like I've told the guys that have been there for a while, like in the professional Linux users group, like we try to keep it like we try to remember kind of where we all came from. None of us knew everything before we started doing it. So then, like, I tell the guys, like, don't hammer dudes that ask questions that are, what you consider basic, because there was probably a time when you didn't know it either. There's stuff that I still read and I'm like, I should probably know that, and I don't. Right? So there's a lot of stuff. So I always tell the guys, I'm like, look, a lot of these people, they want to get here, they want to do this stuff professionally and go change their career, Some of us, like when I was younger, I was an infantry guy, and I was a roofer when I was younger. Like in my teens, I was a roofer. So like I know damn well I don't want to do that anymore, right? Roofing in Phoenix over summer, every summer in my high school, I went to work for my uncle's roofing company. That taught me I did not want to do that shit anymore. I don't know if any of you guys have ever done roofing in summer in Phoenix, but I can't think of very many worse jobs than that. Yeah. All right. So I think let's check. Let's do a real quick check. Oh, I told you guys I would write a check real quick. Let's check to make sure that all my nodes are clean and good. Because remember, we found 18 was busted. So let's cd to Etsy, Ansible hosts, and well. What do we have here? We've got those nodes, but let's say y, p. Let's make a whole bunch of these, and then let's go 4, 5. This will be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Then we'll say p a few more times, and we'll say 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and then 19. Okay, so now we've got an Ansible playbook that will go. Jack Burton, yeah, I got a EIB and a CIB. EIB was my first try because, you know, I can throw hand grenades and shift from a known point. And then my CIB was also first try because it doesn't take much to get a CIB. You just got to be there. So, have I tried this rich plasma for Ranger? Help my lab turn him into pup. Man, I haven't even thought about anything like that for Ranger, but the older older Ranger gets, and it's funny. Like, me and the wife have talked about this. Like, when we were younger and we didn't have any money, it would be like, man, we'd do what we could for our dog, but, you know, we can't. But now I told Julie, it's like, up to half my kingdom, just save Ranger. And then you guys ever seen the second episode of Rick and Morty with the dogs? And he's like, would he do it for us? And he's like, we are not them, right? Like save my puppy Morty no matter what. And it's really, yeah, it's kind of that. And also, Jack, I almost always have my green screen up, but tonight I was just like, I'm just going to hop on. And this is the way we did it for years right here, was just no green screen behind me and just kind of hanging out or whatever. So, yep. I think my vet was like 200. Huh. Dude, I love Rick and Morty. I've loved them a long time. Okay, real quick. We've got to run. So now we're going to run an Ansible, an ad hoc against the Rocky nodes. And we've got to give a specific, I forget how to give the key. So let's do this, Control R, and we'll just say Rocky. Let's do Control R, Rocky. And then let's go Control Shift R, and we're going to go look back through. So here was my Rocky commands, but I think this one breaks. I'm pretty sure this one breaks because I don't have the right key out there. Hold on. But, yep. So it broke, but then I can run the key. Where was it? Control R. Control Shift R. All right, hold on. Ansible. I think I saw it right here. I think I just went to. Nope, I don't have it. All right, so I don't remember where it is. So, anyways, we'll do it like this. So, cat root root.sh ls. My brain's not working. It's too late. So I've got this cluster key, right? Here I go killing again. Yeah. We're going to say Ansible Rocky, because we want to hit just the Rocky nodes from the, it's already our default host file, so we don't need to do that. And then I forget how to use the key though, so we'll have to check that out. Let's see if it'll give us the key. Where the heck's the key at? Oh, there it is. Dash key. So root.sh cluster. So that's our private key, right? And then -m shell. What happened? Really need a hardware firewall. I'm going nuts otherwise. What do you do in ICQ that you need a hardware firewall? What's Oh, shell, and then A is, let's just do uptime for now. Let's see if we can hit all the nodes real quick. Oh, hold on, no. Oh, key. That's cluster underscore key. All right, this will hit them all. So now, the main thing is, are they all up? Are they all with a relatively, you know, right uptime that we want? That's fine, I don't care about the interpreter. All my nodes are up. So, knowing that all my nodes are up, that's good. I might also want to do this real quick. Inside of the A, I can do an fdisk -L, grep-I for XVD. And this will show me that they all have, 4 disks total. They should all have 4 disks. If I care, they're 3 gig and a 15 gig, but you'll notice that they're out of order. I don't care the order. Order doesn't matter. Because the order's not going to affect how people are going to use them in the labs. Oh, IceQ, I've been missing everything. I just want network segregation. I want to manage every connection and know from the network. What's there to question about that? That's fair enough. I mean, if you want to break your network up, that's fine. You just need a device that can handle internally like VLAN connections, and then that's pretty straightforward after that. So yeah, if your internal switch ports are all VLAN'd out, then you can separate your traffic however you want. You can even do what's called quality of service QoS on it if you want. It's pretty easy and straightforward to do typically. All right. All right, so all our nodes are up. We can connect to them, right? We were connecting to them remotely like this. I'm connected. And that'll get us connect. Whoops. Oh. Hopefully I get my password so I don't get locked out forever. All right, and then I want to go to like 13, and it says yes, and then it'll log me into Rocky 13. And then there we go. We're on the box. Since I am only used to this in Windows, I'm really curious about the Linux course. Well, ICQ, that's what that's what the Linux course is for. Show people Linux system administration, like show you guys how you can do this stuff. Muscleman, you said you bought an HP DL380P G8 as your first home lab machine. Nice. Nice. Now I tell you guys, like, home lab machines are great. I do think it's valuable to build out your own systems and stuff. But I also think, like, if money's tight, Killer Coda is one of the best free things on the internet. So you guys can get a whole lot of administration work out of here without ever going and buying anything. That's one of the reasons I'm doing the course for free, because I want you guys to come in and see that, like, almost all the stuff that you have to know how to do on a daily basis is going to be found just in a normal shell, like in a sandbox. Now, troubleshooting and watching a system boot and build and all these kind of things, those are skills that we just have to kind of acquire and work on and maybe build some stuff in our home labs. But honestly, like, you can get a tremendous amount of your experience right here for free. I kind of feel like, any of you guys ever watched the movie Good Will Hunting, where he's like, you spent all this money, you know, at Stanford or whatever, and I got the same education for $1.38 in late fees at the library or whatever. And that's kind of how, you know, in some ways that's kind of how it is. Like, if somebody will show you this stuff and will walk you through it, like we're going to be doing in these labs and stuff, I think you guys will learn stuff. Yeah, Robodom, it gives you an hour in any Linux environment and Kubernetes environment you want. Like, we want to go deploy Kubernetes stuff right here for free. Yeah, how do you like them apples? Yeah, this is all right here. By the way, Good Will Hunting was one of those movies I didn't like the first time I saw it. When I was like a punk 18, 19-year-old kid or whatever when that came out, I didn't give a shit about that. Well, I was in the army at the time, but I didn't give a shit about that movie. But as I got older, like, that movie I appreciate that. Same with 13th Warrior. That came out when I was like a teenager. Didn't care for it. As an adult, 13th Warrior is one of the best movies I've ever seen. And as a former soldier and all that kind of stuff, hands down one of the best movies I've ever seen, period. Just the examples they give and just everything about it. I mean, yeah, the story's kind of a bit crazy, but everything else about it was really good. Same education for years long headache. Yeah. Look at this. Anyways, you can do whatever you guys want in there. Oh, Ranger turned towards us. Okay. Let's go find somebody to raid. I just hit 2 hours. I didn't want to be on too long. I think college is still valuable, but I definitely think that people can do whatever. Yeah, Cuddlingus. We have 2 copies of the original book, The Eaters of the Dead, here as well. I thoroughly enjoyed those as well. Kingdom of Heaven, I don't remember that. I think I've seen that movie, but I didn't ever read it, so I wouldn't know the difference. But I can assure you, The Eaters of the Dead, which is the book that 13th Warrior is based on, is really good. It's really good setup. So, okay, we're gonna keep kind of marching towards this Saturday. You know, you guys don't need anything. All you need to do is be part of the Discord, which is free, and then you hop into the Discord. You go up here to events, and you say, "Oh, I want to come to this course." Or if you don't want to come to our formal Linux Systems Administration course, which by the way you can hang out even if you're not doing the course. And then we also have the Code Cove on Sundays, which didn't meet this last Sunday because Salty got sick. But it'll start on this next Saturday, so on the 14th we're gonna start it. So I'm just gonna power through. Yeah, bring snacks. Bring snacks. Show your snacks. If we get over, it's fun. If you get over 25 people in Discord, you can't use video anymore, and I think that's really funny. I would love to see us get over 100 people on the channel one day. I'd love to see what the limits of this thing really is, but you know, it is what it is. We figure it out as we go. So guys, there's all that stuff. Everything on Discord's always going to be free. Watching me is free aside from ads. You know, you just come and hang out. My goal is to get you guys doing this stuff professionally because you really can. You know, you can do. What's Ranger doing? He likes to put his nose on the tile because the tile's really cool. And sometimes he lays like with the side of his face on it. But I think he likes to breathe on the tile because it's cool. So it's 73 down there, guys. 107 in Phoenix. Oh no, it's 96 in Phoenix right now. Sorry, but it got to 107 today, so he's there. Can I ask you to Discord for 5 minutes regarding the course because I don't want to bother while it's going. Not gonna lie, I would like to answer some questions. ICQ, I'll jump down there for a few minutes if you want right after this. Let's go find somebody to raid and then I'll hop down there. So let's go see who's on. BlazeBits is on. He's doing Hack the Planet. So he's been doing some Ansible. So we should go check out what he's doing. Kind of scope on what he's doing. And he's doing pretty good stuff. He's been on for an hour and 42. So who knows how much longer he's on. But the rule is raid them before they raid you. So we're going to raid him real quick. And then looks like something's going on over there. And I appreciate you guys coming by. We will go. I will be down there in the Discord in a few minutes, and I'll talk to you guys later, all right? Take care.